Hey ladies, it's Carolee. I have had some people ask me what my symptoms were, so I figured I'd put in my symptoms and how I think I got vulvodynia into one video for you. And then, of course, this is for anyone else who's searching for answers of what they have and, why are they having issues down there. So my story goes all the way back until 36 years ago when I was a baby. Now, I had asked my father when I had first gotten this disease, when I had figured out what it was. I said, why am I so sick? Why did I get a disease at 27 years of age? Why? Did they give me a lot of antibiotics when I was young? And he said, yeah, you almost died of viral meningitis when you were 2 months old. So they pumped you full of antibiotics so you wouldn't get bacterial meningitis. And he said then after that you had ear infection after ear infection after ear infection. So they gave you, more antibiotics just so just that's what they did, antibiotics. It got so bad that they were just about to put tubes in my ears, but then it all went away. But by the time that I was 4 or 5 years old, I had more antibiotics pumped in my body than anyone should ever have in a lifetime. After that, I remember just as a young child just having major carb addictions. I had a high carb diet. I played soccer for 9 years and I was the husky one on the team. I just was like this crazy hungry monster. I always ate. I always had a stomach. It just goes on and on. With antibiotics, I always had taken antibiotics. My first yeast infection was in high school. I think my last round of antibiotics was probably about 5 years ago. I had strep throat. So I've always had antibiotics. Now, knowing what we know, and of course, I research Candida. I'm a huge researcher, huge reader. And, a lot of these people on these sites, they say things that really shock me. Like, after every round of antibiotics, it takes your body 18 months to recover. I've heard nutritionists say that in a lifetime, your body can only handle 1 or 2 rounds of antibiotics in a whole lifetime. So, here we are 70, 80 years later after penicillin was discovered, and we're really realizing that, overprescribing these drugs has really caused some major issues for people. So, let's talk about vulvodynia then. So, I wanted to be thin. I wanted it very, very, very bad. I was always fat. I was always overweight. And so a friend of mine had told me about this cleanse. It's called the Master Cleanser, the Lemonade Diet. Maybe you've heard of it. Beyonce made it popular. She did it for a movie role. And so I did. I did 4 of these cleanses in a year, and it's actually a fast. And it's cayenne pepper, maple syrup, lemons, and water. And after the 4th one, it just literally wiped out everything that I had left in my system that was good in my gut. And I started to feel painful sex. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And that was after my first son was born. He was born C-section. After my second son was born C-section, I remember the pain just got worse. By the time that I had my 3rd son, Anthony, who you see on my videos, he's so cute, the pain was really, really bad. And of course, you wait, 6 weeks after, you have your baby to have sex. And that was the worst pain I have ever felt. Some of the worst pain that I've ever felt in my life. I didn't stop him for some reason, but it was awful. And then, of course, we tried it again, a couple days later or whatever, and I had to stop him. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. There is no way. It was like burning knife. And it was like burning and throbbing for like a good half an hour afterwards. Thankfully, he left me alone. He did not touch me at all for a year. So anyway, after that had happened, I had just said, you know what, I need to figure this out. So I just went to some random family doctor. I called that morning. I got in. I'm sure he was not thinking he was going to be doing that day. But he ended up testing me for like 5 different things: bacteria, candida, and like 3 STDs. Everything came back negative. I was 100% healthy. So I went to a naturopath, to a lady naturopath. She had no idea what I had. I had told her that I thought it was candida because I had kind of had known about candida before that. So she put me on a candida diet. I spent so much money on like all these supplements that she gave me. And about 2 weeks into it, I was just like, this is not it. This is not the full picture of it. So that's when I was like, I have to take matters into my own hands. I'm not going to go back to this lady doctor because she doesn't know what I have. I'm not going to go back to a whole bunch of these doctors because they don't know what I have, and I'm negative on these tests. So I went searching. That's when I found Laura Horowitz's video on YouTube. After her video, I was like, that is exactly what I have. So I got her free ebook and I started the diet right away. Now, I started the diet in October of 2012, and I was breastfeeding. So for those women out there who are concerned about starting a diet like this while they're breastfeeding or while they're pregnant, I would say that it's fine. I was concerned that my son was going to, get these toxins that I'd be possibly releasing into my milk supply, but he was perfectly fine. He had no issues at all whatsoever. The only issue that I had was that I lost a lot of my milk supply, but I just kept up with it. I still breastfed him for a whole year. I just did whatever I could. So I did the Vulvodynia for about 5 months, hardcore. And what I found was that I had gotten worse. I had like this constant cool burn like all day long. I had acid pee. I had like stinging and like piercing stings and throbbing. And I'm like, what is going on around here? I thought I was supposed to be getting better. So somebody introduced me to this pill called Protandim. So I decided to take Protandim, and actually about 2 weeks afterwards, I started feeling pretty good. That constant cool burn started to kind of go away, and I started adding in more foods, and I took Protandim for about a year, and I still was doing, the majority of Laura's diet still throughout that time. Excuse me. But I definitely wasn't cured. I was maybe about 70% better, and I stayed about 70% better for, a couple of years. So this last spring, I had come across that article about red candida. And so in the beginning of June, I started my version of my Vulvodynia diet, which was basically stepping up the candida killing. Yes. So I can tell you that just within, because today's date is November 19th, 2015. From the beginning of June until now, I feel almost no symptoms of Vulvodynia at all whatsoever. Almost none. I do get irritated, but I have, no other symptoms. And sometimes my symptoms are heightened when I get my period, and, Laura definitely goes into that. She says that you're going to feel pain no matter what during your period, and I do feel irritation, but for the most part, I feel really, really great. So you have got to put your big girl panties on, and that's what she says in her book. She's like, it's time. You got to put your big girl panties on and just do it. Are you going to be able to go to McDonald's? No. Are you going to be able to have pizza? No. You're not going to be able to have anything that you want. You're not going to be able to have chips. You're not going to be able to have wine. You're not going to be able to have beer. But if you can do this, if you can eat vegetables, if you can eat seaweed, if you can drink water, if you can juice, if you can nourish the body, if you can make your shakes like I did, if you can kill the candida. I started feeling so much better within months. 5 months down the road, I have no pain. I'm not just telling that everybody will be different, because I was on the Vulvodynia diet for years before I started doing this. But I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, I great sex now, libido up, feeling fantastic. I mean, a hope for the future, my disease being gone. It's worth it. I'm telling you, it is worth it. You are worth it. You've got to do this. Otherwise, what are you going to be on drugs the rest of your life? I mean, I have been on these Vulvodynia sites for a while now, and the women who are on these sites are in serious, awful, horrible pain. So if you are searching for what you have and you think Vulvodynia might be it, you can find me on YouTube. I have some videos out. My name is Carolee Vigstall. You can find Laura on Facebook. It's Healing Vulvodynia Naturally with Laura. Get her ebook. You are going to need to do her diet and then incorporate, killing the candida. I talk about killing the candida more. I mean, probably just about as much as the diet, but that is huge for me because that is what's really made a difference. Red candida is causing your issue. I believe it in everything in my being that's the main issue, along with toxicity and acid being all balanced, and basically your body just being a total mess. So if any of this sounds familiar to you, I feel you, I've been there, but you know what? I've gotten better. So please do yourself the biggest thing. This has been the greatest accomplishment of my life, has been healing my disease after like 8 or 9 years of having Vulvodynia. So good luck to you. Happy healing. If you'd like me to make a video on how I keep the cost down, because it does not really cost me a lot to do this, to do the diet, because I have taken out, a lot of junk food, a lot of meat. So yes, I spend a lot of money on supplements, but I don't really eat a lot, because when you replace good quality food that's nutrient dense with the food that doesn't do anything for you really on a cellular level, you don't really need as much food because your cells are being satisfied and your body's being satisfied and your body's being nourished. So I can do a video on that if you'd like. Let me know. Happy healing to you all once again, and I'll be seeing you. All right. Have a good night.